Welcome to Upside Down Shark Radio, the premier pop culture podcast. Expect musings, musical interludes, memes, and more. Here are your hosts, Paul and Tom.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Upside Down Shark Radio. I am your hostess with the mostest, the Right Honourable Tom Baker. Joining me tonight is Mr. 105% attendance, Mr. Allgood Paul Wood. How you doing, Paul?
I'm not too bad, glad to be back.
We're glad to have you back. It's been a while. Today we're going to just be rattling through just some of the nerdy pop culture news bulletins of the week.
Yeah, it's been a bit slow this week.
It has a bit, so we just thought we'd quick fire it, but rest assured later on this episode we'll have our track of the week, which is by Standalone, so looking forward to that. But let's go through to some music news. Paul, what have you heard about Distillers?
Distillers are on a comeback at the moment. They announced, I believe, a date. I'm just double checking that now.
Sometime in the near future, because they haven't been going for a while.
Their last album was 15 years ago.
Good lord! But Brody Dale has been busy in that time anyway, producing some good stuff.
I thought you were going to say some babies.
Well, some babies as well, some little ginger Queens of the Stone Agey babies, but
yeah, with Josh Homme. Obviously, I'm a fan of Spinneret as well. Her other project. Angrily, not on Spotify.
There's a few bands like that just...
There is one Spinneret track on Spotify. But I own the album, so...
Oh, well, that's what you do if you're a real fan.
Yeah. Obviously, 2003 was their last album.
Good lord. I was just a wee babe at that time.
Yeah, they'd split 2006. But yeah, no, they're come back. They're playing a music festival in May.
Good lord. So is it just live dates announced so far, or is it no recorded material? No,
so far, as far as I know, it's just live comeback, but you never know. That might lead to a new album. With any luck.
Stranger things have happened.
Punk revival.
But you do get these bands sometimes that break up and then they just come on as perpetual tour comeback, but never produce anything. I know you're not a fan, but Alexis on Fire, they broke up in 2010, 2011 time, and they've played about 17 odd shows since then, but never released any new material. And it's like, come on, man! If you're gonna give us a comeback, give us a proper comeback.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of live recordings either.
Yeah, I remember you saying
live albums they just don't appeal to me. They never really have. It's just something about studio albums that obviously I appreciate the amount of work that goes into them. And yeah, I've just never been a fan of live albums. Well, I mean, if you're gonna reform, please record an album.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's so much of production being an art as well. Like, the actual art of music production is often overlooked. If you have a great producer in the studio, it can make or break an album. Yeah. I mean, you only have to look at Ross Robinson with Slipknot and Korn. Their best albums have been down to him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the difference between Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory and Linkin Park's Minutes to Midnight.
Or anything after Minutes to Midnight, for that matter.
Anything after Meteora.
Oh, yeah.
In all honesty.
Except for that one bit on Hunting Party that was good.
I did like Hunting Party, to be honest.
Yeah.
I liked that album. I didn't like any of the surrounding albums.
It was hit and miss, but yeah, it's a shame that they won't, at least in their original lineup, have one last hurrah. But sticking with somewhat somber news, music news, Fast Eddie Clarke, the original drummer of Motorhead, has passed away, unfortunately, on the day of recording, making that the original three all unfortunately passed away now. In quite a short amount of time as well. I think it was less than 3 years ago that Lemmy died. It was the end of 2015, and then the guitarist went. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really overlook the impact that Motorhead made on music.
Oh, absolutely. Undeniably, Motorhead basically changed the sound of music, and there was no one louder.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they did what they did on the tin. They were the loudest, fastest band that you could possibly go and see.
I remember hearing an anecdote a few years ago about they just I believe it was the Royal Albert Hall had been refurbished, and the first act to play after the refurb was Motorhead.
Good lord.
And because they didn't realise quite how loud Motorhead were, they were so loud that the plasterwork that they'd put on the ceiling cracked and fell out. So they had to close the Royal Albert Hall and refurb it.
They had to refurb it because they were too loud.
Because
that
Motorhead.
is the most metal thing. But that was the thing with Motorhead, is that they were the band that, regardless if you were a punk kid or a metal kid, they resonated with everyone because they had all the sort of image and stylings of a metal band. But when you listen to them, they basically played aggressive 4-chord punk.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of bass, chunky riffs, no nonsense.
Well, yeah, to the point where they weren't out of place when they guest starred at the on the series The Young Ones.
Yeah.
Introduced by Vivian.
Music! Yeah, that is... I mean, if you're going to make a cameo on a mainstream British sitcom, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's just... Lemmy was such a legend. They were all great musicians. Obviously, Lemmy was the figurehead and the focal point of Motorhead. But
he had a few other projects that he did as well. Obviously, Hawkwind.
Yeah, well, beforehand, Hawkwind were, again, way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Way ahead of their time.
Strangely, Silver Machine is the only track he sang on and was their most successful track. But the singer, the actual singer, was basically so threatened by him, he kicked him out of the band. So Motorhead happened.
Didn't he also sing on the song Motorhead by Hawkwind as well, I believe, which might have been on the same album?
Possibly.
I know, because that's where they got the name Motorhead from. But
and then Motorhead have, I believe, 2 songs called Motorhead.
And 1 song called Ramones, after the band. But yeah, I mean, you can tell when the brief time he did sing in Hawkwind that it is Lemmy, but his voice got a lot more gravelly and a lot more distinctive when he started to turn up the amps a little bit.
Yeah. Although I maintain my favourite version of any of their songs is the acoustic Ace of Spades that they released.
Yeah, it works. Somehow it just works. You'd think of all the songs to get an acoustic cover, it just wouldn't work with the loudest band on earth, but it just is. It just does.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that through you, and it's just a great acoustic track. It's the sort of thing you just want to sort of sit back, have a drink, and just sort of watch your land.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's a sitting on the porch.
Yeah. Country and Western done right.
Yeah.
Which is, by God, a rare thing. So yeah, rest in peace, Eddie Clark. I hope they're all jamming up there somewhere, or down there, whatever one they prefer. But yeah, it's a sad times. It's the end of an era, end of Motorhead, essentially. So yeah, sorry to put it on a bit of a downer. So moving on from the morbid music news, let's talk a little bit about video games. We all like video games. What have you been playing over the Christmas period?
In all honesty, I haven't. Actually, I lie. In the January sale on PSN, I managed to pick up the Metal Slug Anthology.
Nice! I love Metal Slug.
For just over £5. That is less than £1 a game.
That's incredible. And it's all the 2D side-scrolling, mech riding.
Metal Slug's just unbelievably good fun. If you... one of the levels, if you get hit, you turn into a mummy. Rather than dying, you turn into a mummy, which means you can only shoot your gun and aim forward. Brilliant.
Because that's the thing. I too have been going through a lot of the old 2D co-op side-scrolling shooters over Christmas. I've been dabbling with a bit of Contra.
Yeah.
In the more fantasy realm, I've been playing a bit of Golden Axe and
classic
whatnot. And they're all good. Contra is too hard, for one thing.
Contra was a little bit hard.
But the thing is, Metal Slug just got the balance of humour, action, difficulty, gameplay. It's just spot on.
Metal Slug is just as far as I'm concerned. Growing up, there was an arcade just down the road. Just in town, and they had 5 or 6 machines.
Yeah.
One of which was Soul Calibur. Of the 2 that I ever really played, there was Soul Calibur and Metal Slug.
Yeah.
And God knows how many pound coins I spent.
I can imagine. See, that was always House of the Dead with me. I used to absolutely rinse coins on House of the Dead.
Yeah.
And I've been really tempted to pick up a CRT TV just so that I can hook up some sort of retro arcade cabinet, because boy howdy, I miss that. It's the one downside of having a nice chic modern TV. You can't use light guns.
Nah, can't play Die Hard Trilogy.
Why don't modern TVs have the capacity for light guns? Why did they not think of this?
They on the PS3 they did release the Time Crisis, where you get little LED receptors to put on the corners of your TV.
Oh, that's just the Wii.
The gun doesn't work if you're left-handed.
Well, that's fine. I don't care about that. I'm right-handed. So, a little bit about me, people. But, bring back light guns.
Yeah.
That's going to be my campaign of 2018.
Yeah, obviously there was...
Make gaming great again.
Cabela's Great Hunt on the 360. That is a light... You can get a light gun for that.
But you can only use it on a CRT TV. You couldn't use it on a...
No, you can use it.
No way.
Yeah,
How?
Use it on LCD.
Sorcery.
Yeah.
Sorcery, I say.
Yeah, magic.
I don't know, man. I think I just want a CRT TV again, because that's just who I am. Sticking with gaming, I've been playing a lot of retro stuff.
Sometimes you can't beat some of the classics.
That's it. I mean, I mentioned it on the last week's episode. I've been filling up a Raspberry Pi just full of old ROMs. So, as I said, I've been playing Golden Axe, Muppet Race Mania on the PS1. Forget Mario Kart. Forget what you know about kart racing games. Ruppet Mace Mania sounds slightly racist, but is amazing. You get Gonzo, you get Rizzo, you get the frickin' whole band. The whole band's in there. You get Animal, the other...
Absolute classic.
The guy with the golden tooth, can't remember his name. I claim to be a Muppets fan. I don't know his name. It's got battle royale races. It's just, you just can't beat it. I'm just a Muppet fanboy. Yeah,
we've gathered that before.
Well, we haven't, because I believe that was on the Christmas films episode, which got lost into the ethereal.
Is that in the lost episode?
I think that's in one of the lost episodes, people, which you will never hear, because Craig is a little bit of a dumb boy. I almost swore there, but I didn't. So that's the main thing. But gaming going forward, it was announced today that we're recording, so that is the 11th. The Dark Souls is going to be patched over to the Switch, which is interesting because it carries on the trend of AAA games from a few years ago coming over to the Switch, which I think is only a good thing, especially by what Doom brought.
It's one of those. It's not really games going forward. It's games staying exactly where they are.
Well, it is. It's more taking a tangent to the left. It's coming out left field, because who would have thought 2 or 3 years ago, even, that you'd be able to play games like LA Noire and Skyrim on the go. Like, if you commute either on the train or bus, or even if you're going on a long flight, you can play a game on your TV, take out the console, just set it up on a tabletop, and just carry on playing. I just think that's incredible. I've never played the Dark Souls games personally myself, because I'm not very good at games. Yeah. So
if you're not very good at games, Dark Souls is probably not the best game.
I'll be all right. It's fine. It's all a learning curve.
No.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I'll tell you what. I'll buy it. And when I've played it a little bit...
When you've died 100 times.
We'll report back, and we'll see if my shining optimism is still quite so shiny. I'm excited, because it's us carrying on the precedent for more games to be ported over. I mean, in an ideal world, that would look more like Simpsons Hit and Run. Whether or not that happens is all up in the air now that Disney owns all that stuff.
Disney
Who knows?
Owns everything.
We may very well get a new Simpsons game, in which case, this will make this the best year, because we'll be getting a new Jurassic Park RTS. If we've got a new Simpsons game as well.
The new Jurassic Park game looks like it's going to be better than the new Jurassic Park movie.
Well, we said that about Star Wars Battlefront a few years ago, didn't we? Yeah. And how wrong we were.
Yeah. The problem I have with the new Jurassic Park movie is that the trailer has everything I wanted to see in the movie in it.
What, dinosaurs dying by falling off a cliff?
Basically, yeah. It's got the dinosaurs dying, it's got the T-Rex roaring, and Jeff Goldblum says life finds a way. I don't need to watch the film.
That is all. Yeah, that is a lot of what makes Jurassic Park so good.
I don't need to watch the film. It's in the trailer. Done.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm still going in all guns blazing on this. It's going to be the summer of dinosaurs. As listeners know from last week, I now have dinosaurs tattooed on my arm, so who cares? Dinosaurs are great. Speaking of which, I don't suppose, again, anyone who's not in the UK listening to this, you're going to find this a bit of a tangent, so feel free to skip ahead. But did you watch the documentary on BBC about what T-Rex actually looked like?
I didn't, no.
It was quite interesting. Obviously, a lot of what we know about dinosaurs changes year on year because...
As technology research advances.
So it's now widely established, it's widely believed that T-Rex had feathers, or at least some sort of downy equivalent to feathers. I'm on board with that.
They're all fluffy and cuddly.
I don't care. They still look very intimidating. They still have big old sharp teeth and little hands. It's T-Rex.
Yeah.
Until they got to the end of the programme. This was presented by BBC presenter and naturalist Chris Packham, who I'm not a huge fan of anyway. He's got a bit of an annoying voice, which I know people can't help, but if you're on TV, for God's sake, work on it. He then went on to say, so T-Rex, it looks like lived in a family unit, a bit like lions. And so he said, because I like lions, or something to the degree of, because I like lions, I'd like to think T-Rex had a mane of sorts. And then proceeded to have this CG T-Rex grow a mane of feathers like a freaking male lion based on nothing more than his just, I like that idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
That's like saying, I like unicorns.
Yeah. You can't make up what something looks like based on what you like. That's not how things work. And yeah, I was fully turned off it by that point. I was like, nah, this is poppycock. Poppycock, I say.
Lost you at the last second.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good before then, but then nah. Nah. So, in summation, Dark Souls on Switch, dinosaurs didn't have manes. Moving swiftly on. It was also the start of the annual award season for movies.
Yep.
Now that we're rolling into 2018 balls deep, we start with the Golden Globe, speaking of balls.
It is a very ball-related...
It's quite a spherical award, isn't it?
It is a rather spherical award.
And it was good. It was good to see a lot of female actresses carrying on, standing in solidarity against the allegations and the accusations, and just a general awful culture that seems to have permeated Hollywood for seems like forever. It's nice that that's finally being called out on, and that it seems to be causing a lot of good and is a force for change.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it didn't come out earlier, like when all the stuff from the BBC came out.
Well, yeah.
Why didn't everyone look further into the entertainment industry then?
It does seem a bit fishy. Like, there is a lot of... I mean, they talk about they want to drain the swamp in Congress in America, but goddamn, they need to drain the swamp in entertainment first, because it's just an absolute mess over there.
I think they just need to, like... I don't know. They probably need to start America again. Just
You know what? That's a fantastic idea. They need a new government.
Like Queen, if you're listening. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll take it back, give it a dust down, and maybe give it back to you if you can be trusted. Maybe even give it to Canada. Just make it all Canada. Because Canada's great. They've got Chris Jericho, they've got Kenny Omega, they've got Poutine. That's the three best things on earth.
Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, chips and gravy.
Cheese curds as well. So, yeah, but my personal standout, not to obviously gloss over the political messages, which were largely for the good at the Golden Globes, James Franco won Best Actor for his role as Tommy Wiseau in The Disaster Artist, which is an absolutely phenomenal film. I highly recommend anyone go and see that. He brought Tommy Wiseau himself out on stage. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Tommy Wiseau is the visionary behind the best worst movie of all time, The Room.
He's a rather interesting fellow.
Well, no one seems to know anything about him. He is the modern day enigma. I'm not talking about Jeff Hardy. He's just a fascinating man. He's just thoroughly entertaining, charismatic in every way you can imagine that someone shouldn't be charismatic. And he made the best worst movie or the worst best movie ever. James Franco brought him out on stage to the Golden Globes. Tommy Wiseau, and anyone who knows Tommy Wiseau, and has followed the room and has enjoyed watching it, either drunk or sober, mainly drunk, will know that is something you would never ever see. Is Tommy Wiseau
at the Golden Globes
or any award ceremony for that matter.
Maybe the MTV.
Well, yeah, but then it'll be just
the VMAs.
It'll just be like laughing stock of the year. But legitimately, he has in some way vicariously won a Golden Globe, which is just absolute nonsense. And I mean, I'm all for it. I think it's an absolute testament to following your dreams and never giving up. Because if you've not seen the film yourself yet, have you?
I've not seen Disaster Artist or The Room.
I have seen both. I have met Tommy Wiseau and Greg, the co-star. I've read The Disaster Artist and watched the film. I'm only slightly obsessed with it, as you can tell. And it is just so endearing for something that at face value is just this terrible schlocky film with no real semblance of plot and terrible acting. It is really sweet to see a guy just absolutely uncompromising on his vision and goal of what he wants, and people appreciating it in a way that maybe is not intentional, but it is entertaining. It is undeniably in some way or form entertaining, otherwise people would have just forgotten about it. So for him to get recognition for that, even in the most roundabout way, is just surreal but equally fantastic. And I just can only hope that he wins the James Franco, that is, wins the award for Best Actor at the Oscars as well, and my life will be complete to see Tommy Wiseau come out on stage at the Oscars. We will fully be living in the bizarre world then.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting turn of events.
Yeah. God damn. I'm still trying to process it. So while I am processing it, let's dive straight into our track of the week, which is Save You by Standalone. They are an upcoming British band. They are touring extensively this year, so make sure to check them out. Rather than listing out all the tour dates now, check them out at standaloneuk.com. Full list of there. You can check them out on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, all the good streaming sites, they'll be there. So without further ado, Save You by Standalone. Check it out.
And turn and walk away, so I can say what I wanted to say about it. 'Cause you twist and turn so every day I can't seem to find my way out of here. All the time I try to tell you how I feel, but you are not listening. Turn and walk away, so I can say what I wanted to say about it. 'Cause you push your way into my mind. It's the same old shit every single day of my life. 'Cause you push me away way too often. Burn within me, and I feel so empty. 'Cause you lie and you cheat and I can't compete. But now I don't need you. I guess that you need me, but I'm not around to see you.
So that was Save You by Standalone. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too.
I like that track. It's different. In a good way.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you got against it.
No, it's different in a good way. It's not like everything else you hear at the moment. It's not the same as most of the scene.
It's exactly my sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I may have mentioned it previously. My favourite band of all time is Reuben. British grunge act, well, post-hardcore grunge act from about, again, 10, 15 years ago. Absolutely phenomenal band. I don't think that there is enough of that real meaty hooks in rock, especially in this side of the Atlantic anymore. So it's good to see it come back. So be sure to check out Standalone. Expecting big things on this year.
Yeah, check them out. Go to their website, standaloneuk.com. Show them some love.
Yeah, do it. We'll love you in return. I'm sure they will too. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end of the show. We haven't had much to report on this week, but one thing that definitely happened since at least you and I got together was Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah, it did.
New Japan's headline show, the Japanese WrestleMania. Oh my word.
It is WrestleMania's better in almost every way.
It just is. If you're a fan of wrestling and you haven't checked out New Japan, do it. We in fact have enjoyed it so much, we recorded a whole episode to review it and give it the love it deserves. Breaking down match by match, giving everything a star rating out of 8 for some reason, because why not?
Well, it was out of 5.
Well, it was out of 5, but some were so good that we had to rate them 8 because, you know Meltzer went to 6. We feel like we're better than Meltzer. So we got an 8. So there you go. Oh, God, I'm tired. So yeah, make sure you listen to our rundown of Wrestle Kingdom 12. If it's not up already, then it'll be up in the next couple of days. Check it out beforehand because it is full of spoilers. Literally dripping. Yeah. Dripping with spoilers.
I wouldn't listen to it if you haven't watched the pay-per-view.
Yep, just go and download New Japan World, as their equivalent of the WWE Network, if you're a fan of wrestling. I'm not sure if they do a free trial. I watched on someone else's account. Whoops. But yeah, just if you watch it just for that, it's worth every penny. It had probably some of the best matches you'll see all year, maybe the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, if you'd be prepared to pay, what is it, £25, £30 to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, about that.
You should definitely pay to watch this.
I mean, they say time is money. I say the biggest expense of WrestleMania is that it's 5 flipping hours long.
It is so long.
It's so long, and it's so overdrawn out that, nah. You can get a good hour and a half of content from WrestleMania, but that's not what they do.
No.
That's the difference. Wrestle Kingdom feels like there is no waste. There is no baggage. Every second is just pure entertainment.
Every match. There are no throwaway matches.
No. But if you only check out a couple of matches, make sure to check out the best of the Super Juniors match. That's the Fatal 4-Way for the Super Juniors heavyweight. Is it heavyweight or is it just this, the junior heavyweight? Junior heavyweight, isn't it?
Junior heavyweight.
You can tell I'm a noob when it comes to New Japan, so bear with me. And the marquee match, make sure to check that out as well. One Christopher Jericho versus one Kenneth Omega.
The best of Canada.
The best of Canada. Along with poutine, though they are Canada's 2 finest exports. I will say that till the day I die. I can't remember if I said that in the first one or if it was in this cut of the podcast. Full disclosure, we've recorded this twice because my laptop crashed. So if it sounds like we're a little bit disjointed or lacking the energy, it's because we've had this conversation. There's more for episode 13. It's episode 13, that's the problem, isn't it?
If you wonder why our segues were so good this time.
Well, good is a strong word. But yeah, it was just the cursed episode 13, so we'll come back stronger for episode 14. But let us know if anyone cares to comment if you think this shorter format works better for you, or if you prefer longer form content. But I think that pretty much wraps up our week 13 of Upside Down Shark Radio.
That is episode 13.
Well, in that case, you're getting a call. I should probably get home. I've been Tom.
I'm still Paul.
And we have been Upside Down Shark Radio. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Woo! Doesn't really clap when you're holding a stress ball, does it?
No,
Oh, well.
especially a cubular one.
A cubular stress ball. That's the name of my new band.